It's the next level.
Hmm? Ah! Oh.
Get away from him.
Wait, you don't...
Step back right now.
Saeed, it's okay.
I said get away.
Hey, all right. I let him out. It was some kind of lockdown or something. He was helping me.
Couldn't you find my balloon?
Yeah, we found it.
We did find your balloon, Henry Gale. Exactly how you described it. We also found the grave you described. Your wife's grave. The grave you said you dug with your own bare hands. It was all there. Your whole story, your alibi. It was true. But still, I did not believe it to be true. So I dug up that grave. And found that there was not a woman inside, there was a man. A man named Henry Gale.
Welcome, everyone, into another episode of We Have to Go Back, Lost Revisited, from the Next Level Podcast Network. I am Ben Beck.
And from the Podcastica Network, I'm Kristen Howell. We are further into the second season this week with Season 2, Episode 17, Lockdown.
One of my favorite episodes of Season 2.
This is a good episode.
So, yeah, it's one of my... I know this is a favorite of some of the listeners, too. I know... some of the people, it's funny, we were talking about doing a live recording with you and I, but it never happened. No. We were just having too much fun, just hanging out and doing other stuff. And
we played Beat Saber.
Playing Beat Saber and eating cheesesteaks, and it was a fun week. And we apologize for missing another week last week, but between... a gathering of everybody together, you covering the Game of Thrones finale, and me covering 4 season finales for the DC shows, we needed a break. So,
yes, we did. But I feel refreshed and ready for Lost.
I am too. I'm always refreshed, and you know what? I could have the most stressful week, but knowing I'm podcasting with you is always like an easy thing.
Yeah, I agree. It's very fun and relaxing, and I never have to, I don't have to get too overboard with Lost, which is nice. I mean, with Game of Thrones, there's 1,000 years of history to sift through, and a lot of rage to push down for recording. So. Yeah, this is easy. This is easy, and this is fun, and I love it.
Agreed completely. Before we jump into things, I wanted to bring up something I heard over the weekend. I was listening to another podcast of one of the morning shows that I listen to here in the Philadelphia area, and after Game of Thrones had ended, they ended up running down the list of the top 10 best finales of all time and the top 5 worst. Big Bang didn't make the list because it was too new. The list had already come out before Big Bang, but the Big Bang Theory finale was just
phenomenal.
A couple of weeks ago, and it was fantastic. And for the most part, I agreed with most of the list. I know, MASH was on the list of best, The Sopranos,
The Office,
6 Feet Under. The Office actually wasn't on either list.
That's bullshit.
I agree.
The Office is the best finale I've ever seen of any show.
But yeah, 6 Feet Under, The Sopranos. But I want to focus more on the worst.
Oh, tell me Dexter won number 1.
Oh, Dexter was actually, no. Dexter was not number 1. Dexter was number 4 on that list.
Wait, you're saying there's 3 other finales that are regarded as the worst?
Yes. And one of them I agree with. Actually, 2 of them I agree with. And one I don't. Take a guess which one I don't. Lost.
Yeah.
I don't think Lost belongs in the top 5 at all because, again, I'm one of the people, and I know you agree with me on this, that if you hated the finale of Lost, you didn't understand it. And this morning show, I love these guys because I used to work for them. So I'm very partial to what they say and I'm very, allegiant to them. But they were like, they started saying like, oh, the writers promised it wasn't purgatory. And in the end, it ended up still being purgatory. I'm like, no, it fucking wasn't. Like,
Right.
stop it. Like, and they even said like, oh, we're going to get text messages of people defending the fact that it wasn't. And they should just get over it and agree that it was. No, that's not the case at all. Stop it.
Yeah.
Stop it.
Well, I know, but after experiencing what the disappointment of the Game of Thrones finale that I personally had, I can understand why people need to maybe back off people that, have different opinions about finales. And I know Lost was very controversial. I don't understand it at all, but I can see that other people were really upset about it. And that's fine. I don't agree with it, but that's fine because I am pretty pissed off still about the Game of Thrones finale.
Oh, I know you
and
are.
I'm probably going to stay that way for a while. So, at this point, it's just kind of like to each his own. But I agree. Like, if you put in the work with Lost and you really, really kind of dissect it and you go over it and you see it as a whole, I don't know. I can see why people were pissed off when they watched it week by week, but once I binged it from beginning to end, when I was on partial bed rest for one of my pregnancies, I understood how they landed the plane, so to speak. I understood how they got there, which I thought was really great. With Game of Thrones, they went off the rails on purpose. To me, they went for shock value, and they just took every single, shred of books and knowledge and history and everything that we had been following for so many years, and they just torched it. So to me, those are two totally different endings, if that makes any sense.
It makes total sense. But yeah, I mean, again, to each their own, and it's like you said, it's everybody's going to have their own opinion about finales. If you didn't like the Lost finale, but you're still listening to us and hope you're keeping an open mind when we get to that point, which we're still a long way off.
Right.
I know you and I appreciate that, and that's one of the reasons why I'm glad I'm doing this podcast with you, is because you kind of have the same mindset as to not necessarily each and every episode, because there's been episodes we disagree with on certain things, and I love that. That's what makes an interesting podcast. If we agreed on absolutely everything, this podcast would be boring.
Super boring.
But when it comes to the finale, like, you and I have the same mindset as to what it was and what it was about. So
yeah, it'll be fun when we get there and we can talk about why we feel the way that we feel. Can I ask you what the number one?
Oh, I was going to give you the other two anyway, because I'm sure other people were probably like, well, what were the other two?
Go from 5 to 1.
Oh, yeah, I don't remember number 5.
Okay.
I don't
Dexter
remember.
was 4.
Dexter was number 4. Lost was
Ridiculous.
number 3.
Okay.
Seinfeld was number 2, which
Oh, yeah,
I
people
agree
were
with.
Pissed. People were pissed.
I hated Seinfeld. I never watched Seinfeld, but I watched the finale because it was supposed to be this big event. And I just remember watching it and be like, wow, I'm so glad I didn't waste 9 years with this show.
Right.
Because this was horrible. But even people who loved Seinfeld said that was a horrible finale. It was a show about nothing that they finally gave some substance to one episode, and it ruined like the entire series.
That's so funny. What was number 1?
Number 1, How I Met Your Mother.
Oh, yeah, you know what? Yeah, it was pretty... It wasn't worse than Dexter, I'll tell you that. It was not worse than Dexter, but yeah, it's up there. I forgot about that. It's just because the last episode could have been an entire season.
Yeah, you and I talked about this past week,
We
actually.
We did. We had a big discussion about it.
Yep. Yeah, and you know what? I'm in agreement, but the How I Met Your Mother finale was so bad. I know we're off topic, but we're going to get to the episode in just a minute, I promise. Was so bad that somebody made a fan edit of a new ending that was so much better, to the point where even the writers were like, you know what? We're putting that on the DVD. And they did.
Oh.
Have you never seen the fan edit?
I've never seen it. You're going to have to send it to me.
Oh, I'm going to have to send you a link of the fan edit. The fan edit is so much better.
I like the fan edit of somebody that redid the end of Game of Thrones. I posted it on my personal page. I don't know if you saw. It was a 16-minute video.
Oh, no, I didn't see that one.
It was amazing. It was amazing. It was everything that you would want from the finale that you didn't know that you wanted. I mean, I knew I wanted something else, and I knew I wanted it to be a lot better, but this guy really thought it out. So go to my personal page and see. Well, not the listeners. Sorry, guys. My personal page is on lockdown. But maybe if you want it, send us a message and we can send it to you, because it's really, really good.
Or we can share it on the Lost page.
Yeah. Okay.
We
can do that too. Cool.
But yeah, so I mean, you're right. When it comes to like those four that we've mentioned, you know, Dexter, Lost, How I Met Your Mother, and Seinfeld, I just love the fact that it was still, you know, when it came to the Game of Thrones finale, and people were saying like, "Oh, that was an awful finale." Like the Dexter finale is the wait a minute, hold my beer finale. Yeah, because that was just God. I just remember being so disappointed in that finale.
Garbage. Totally agree.
It was so bad. But
it makes rewatches terrible.
It does. It's one of the reasons why I haven't gone back to rewatch Dexter.
I only watched through the Barrel Girls and then I'm done.
Which season was the Barrel Girls?
4. It's 5.
I was going to say, because
the one after Trinity.
Okay, so that's 5. Yeah, because Trinity. You and I have talked about this, and we disagree on the better season. I still think it's Trinity, but
it's all still fantastic.
Exactly. But you're right. After season 5, there's no point in watching.
Yeah,
anymore.
Well, that was just a great... And you know what? They ended it really well, too, in season 5. Like, you can even say the end of season 5 is a perfect ending to the show.
Makes sense. Makes total sense.
So, yeah.
But I digress. We should start talking about the episode, because
I think so.
That's what people are here to talk about.
I think that was a good discussion.
I think it was appropriate, too, with all, like, the season finales of everything happening and, you know, lists like that coming out. I like throwing stuff like that in every once in a while.
I would love to just, like, maybe watch all of those finales, all the bad finales or something, and just talk about it on an episode.
We could do that. I mean, there's definitely stuff we can do in between seasons.
Yeah, that would be fun. Just something fun, different.
Yeah, exactly. But, you know, just a quick note before we jump into things, too. This is a spoiler-full podcast. You will hear us talking about things that have already happened, as well as things that are going to happen in the future of the series. So if this is your first watch-through, we do apologize for that. But it's necessary sometimes in the topic of conversation. So, you know what? I'm going to kick it off to you. I like the fact that we've gotten rid of like the top 5 and we just kind of go into discussion about the episode. I feel like that kind of flows a little better. So what do you want to start with? I'll kick it over to you. What do you want to start the topic with?
Yeah, I'm really excited to talk about this.
Okay.
But I really enjoyed Jack this week.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So I actually put a little smiley face by his name. I thought it was nice to see him with other people. It was nice to see him take a break from abusing Locke. It was nice to see him working against Sawyer to get the medicine for the group. It was nice to see him as a doctor. I just thought that it was a change of pace for Jack, and I recognize it. And I thought it was really nice to see him not as an antagonist, but as a true leader of the group, and using his own skills of being a doctor, and having a little bit of discernment, and with problem solving, so as a difference. So between that and then at the end when he threw Henry Gale up against the wall, I was like, hey, all right, buddy, you're doing something right. Good for you.
Our buddy Dez is going to be very happy with this episode.
That's okay.
Already.
Well, then I need to change my tune.
I like how you were like, well, that's okay. As if it's usually our objective to make Dez upset.
Sometimes it's fun to imagine him banging his head against his steering wheel.
As he's listening to the podcast. No, I agree with you. I really liked this side of Jack in this episode. Not so much that I put a smiley face next to him, but that's not to say that I didn't enjoy this side of Jack. I mean, one of my favorite part of, well, it's not my favorite part of the episode, but my favorite part of the Jack element of this episode was him playing cards with Sawyer.
Yeah, man, he had a lock on Sawyer. That was great.
Well, Jack conned the con man. Mm-hmm. I mean,
hustled him.
He conned him. I mean, one of the key elements of a con man is to give somebody a plan and make them believe that it's their own. And that's exactly what Jack did when it came to Sawyer. He wanted the medicine. You know, we get that whole scene in the beginning of the episode with everybody, with, you know, with Claire coming up to Jack, and then Libby coming up to Jack and saying, it could use a little Neosporin, and Libby making the point that Sawyer's the one with the Neosporin. Jack knew at that moment he needed the medicine. So he totally played Sawyer to make Sawyer play to the point where he knew he could get the medicine from Sawyer.
Right.
He
I
conned
just
Sawyer.
thought it was great. But it was like a pool hustle, you know? It was just, to me, it was like, no, it's okay. Like, you know, I don't need to play. And Sawyer's like, no, come on, man, play. So, yeah, I mean, I think that you're right. It was more of a con than a hustle. But I just loved it. I agree. I thought that was really great. And yeah,
because, a hustle to me, I didn't mean to interrupt it, but
that's okay.
Like a hustle to me would be more of if Jack played Sawyer, lost a couple hands to make Sawyer think that he's not good at poker, and then come back and win it all. He never made bones about the fact that he knew how to play poker. Mm-hmm. Like, so that's why, to me, it was more of a con than a hustle. But maybe you're right. Maybe it's maybe a little bit of elements of both to it.
Mm-hmm. I agree with you that I thought it was wonderful, and I loved it, and it was just nice to see that side of Jack. For sure.
Yeah.
And he was even nice to Kate. He offered to walk her back to the camp. That was nice. Usually he tells her to beat it.
That's true. I didn't even think about that. I took that as more of like he's trying, and I guess it's an element of that as well, that he was trying to make peace with Kate. Like, say, like, you know, like, or maybe he went into a little action. I don't know. But it's, yeah, you're right. He definitely made peace with Kate by doing that. It was nice seeing him. Maybe he felt that he's been too rough on her lately. You know, I don't know.
Well, I think we can all agree that he has been too rough on her lately. I don't know. I mean, a lot of people, you know, when you think that your small dramas are big dramas because you don't have a lot going on. You know, Jack has a lot going on right now. He has people on a wild goose hunt for a parachute that might not be there, or a balloon that might not be there. He's got a guy in the hatch that he's trying to, you know, keep from everyone else. He's at odds with Locke. He's still getting, you know, doctor requests and making house calls. So he's busy, and he doesn't have time to think about matters of the heart, which I think that's old Jack, right? Pre-Island Jack, when he was so busy playing hero and running a hospital that he forgot about his own personal life. And I think that there's maybe an element to that. You know, he's developed a rhythm and a work ethic on the island, and his personal life has kind of fallen to the side. And as a result, I think he's allowing himself to have a friendship with Kate again, which is nice.
Yeah, no, I would agree with that too. And you're right. It was definitely nice, a nice change of pace, actually seeing that, you know, when it comes to Jack. Mm-hmm. One of the other elements that I really love that always makes me chuckle is Sawyer's nicknames, and we got even new ones this week, especially during the poker game. I know he calls Hurley Mongo at one point, which is a reference to Blazing Saddles, and then we get two gambling references when it comes to Jack. He calls him Amarillo Slim at one point,
and Cool Hand.
Cool Hand, that was the other one. I couldn't think of it. But yeah, and there's another one he calls. There's another one I think he calls Hurley too, and I can't remember what it is. Maybe there's not. Maybe it's just the two, or maybe it's just the Mongo and then Cool Hand and Amarillo Slim.
Yeah, I don't know. I think that was just a three, but I could be wrong.
Yeah, I could be wrong too. For some reason,
I don't
thought
pay
there was another
attention
one.
to his nicknames anymore.
I still do, because they still make me chuckle, depending on what they are.
Mm-hmm. I don't like it when he fat shames Hurley.
And Mongo is definitely a fat shaming one for Hurley, and you do feel bad for Hurley. But Hurley has his moments, man, when he gets those little comebacks, and I know we're going to get another one from him soon. I just don't remember what it is. Because there's plenty more Hurley to go.
I love Hurley.
Anything, you know, while we're on the topic of, you know, Jack and Sawyer and all of that, and the card element, Anything else that we can talk about when it comes to that? That's pretty straightforward. The only other note I have when it comes to that is this is the first mention we're getting of Jack's tattoos. Because they're gonna come into play a little bit later. But I think it's still a little ways off before we finally get that Jack backstory when we get them.
Jack backstory.
Oh, I see what I did there. It was unintentional, but I did it.
That's all right.
I did it.
No, I'm good on that. That was all I. What was your next point?
Well, I wanted to kind of shift gears and start going more into the Jack and Henry Gale of it all.
Locke and Henry Gale.
Locke and Henry Gale of it all. Yeah.
The A story, as it were.
But I don't think we can do that without first talking about how this story how this episode begins, and that is with Sayid, Anna, and Charlie actually finding the balloon and the grave underneath of it. You know, this is the one thing that Henry's been telling them, you know, this is corroborating his story.
Right.
And, you know, the brilliance of this episode is that, and we put the poll out there before, and I'm going to put another poll out there at some point too to kind of back this. We put the poll out there on the Facebook page as to, at this point, you know, a couple weeks ago, did you believe that Henry was telling the truth, or did you think he was lying? And I think for the most part, I think it was pretty even, but more people didn't trust Henry than did at that point in time. The writing of this episode, this episode starts with them finding the grave, finding the balloon, and all of Henry's actions when the whole hatch goes into lockdown.
Brilliant.
It's brilliant. You're right, because it made me believe Henry's telling the truth. Like, this guy's legit. Like, he's legitimately helping Locke. He's concerned for Locke. They found the balloon. So by the end of this episode, when we get that twist, man, this is one of the reasons why I love this episode so much, is because it totally flips the script by the end.
Well, when they all came rushing in and everybody's got their guns drawn and everybody looks distrustful, like, you're immediately like, whoa. Like,
yeah,
we
what
just
the hell
saw
happened?
you discover the truth. What on earth is happening right now? So that was a really fun reveal. I agree.
Yeah, that's one of the reasons why I love this episode so much, is because of that. And the writing in the way it was played is absolutely brilliant, which you took the word right out of my mouth when you said brilliant. But I notice I feel like a fool, because I realized something. As we've been going through with this podcast, we've been comparing episode titles to the stories of the episodes. And I didn't realize until my second viewing of this episode this week, which is probably my 7th or 8th viewing of this episode total, that there is a double meaning to this episode title. Lockdown.
Yeah, right.
Lockdown is obviously because the hatch goes into lockdown. Never clicked until my second viewing this week, that it also refers to legitimately Locke being down. He's trapped under a door. Never even clicked.
The fact that his legs are not crushed is a miracle.
Well, things happen on this island.
I know. those big old spikes or whatever. They're not spikes, but you know what I'm talking about.
Like pylons.
Big,
yeah,
poles or whatever. I mean, missed his bone. That's crazy.
Well, how do you miss bone? Those things are like wide as hell.
I don't know. It looked so painful.
I even have that in my note that where is it? Yeah, the door falling on Locke's legs is cringeworthy.
Yeah, it was like I hated it as well. I was like, no, please stop.
I mean, there are certain things, like, I have a pretty strong stomach when it comes to things on television. I used to watch like the Jackass TV show and the movies and stuff like that. I was actually friends with a couple of those guys since they're based in this area. But there are certain things that they did that I can't watch, and they're cringeworthy things, and it's the stupidest shit, like paper cuts. Paper cuts make me cringe. And I have a very strong, like, they've done stuff with, like, vomit and all this other stuff that I was very able to watch. Very few things make me cringe, like I said, like paper cuts and things like that. This made me cringe. Because you can
when he
only
was trying
imagine
to pull
it.
him out too, when Henry is trying to pull Locke out, he's like, "No, stop!" I'm like, "No, stop!"
Exactly. You're going to pull his damn legs off. Knock it off.
Ugh.
But I want to start talking about this A story a little bit more, and I want to go back to the beginning of it, because I think it really is a key point to all of this. And we see that moment that kind of takes place. It starts right off from where from the last episode ends, and we get that again, more brilliant mind games from Henry when he looks at Locke and he says, "Why do you let him talk to you like that?" And that, again, it's a line is purely meant to get in Locke's head.
But it looked like Locke knew it this time, that Henry was manipulating him, because he stuck him right back into his cell after that.
Oh, see, I took it more as it pissed him off to the point where he just didn't want to see the person that reminded him.
No,
But you
was
could be
something
right.
about like the way that he changed his facial expression. Like he looked at him and like he changed his whole face contorted into something different. And I just got the feeling that, and I could be wrong, of course, but my immediate feeling was that Locke knew that he was being manipulated for whatever reason. And I think that a lot of that has to go with the flashback that we were getting with Locke being manipulated by his father.
You know what? Thinking about it, you could actually be right. I think that's more the case, because then it plays off a little bit differently, that Jack is onto this guy that he believes is fully manipulating him, and then he's forced to have to trust him. Mm-hmm. And I think you're right. I think if you look at it in that aspect, it kind of plays a little better than just it's something he said to make him mad.
Mm-hmm.
So,
yeah.
No, I think you're right. I think that's absolutely probably the case when it comes to
I
that.
love that sentence. I think you're right.
I'm sure you do.
It's such a fun sentence.
It's a fun sentence when you hear it addressed to you.
Right.
Oh, all right.
Yeah.
All right.
I thought we were all on the same page here.
Yeah, well, we are now. I don't want to keep going on with this on mine though. So, like, what's something else from your end?
Well, I actually, a lot of my points have to do with this story. So, one of them is the Locke and Henry and Cooper parallels, and that is, the misplaced trust, the naivete, Locke putting his trust into Cooper and into Henry Gale, instead of putting his trust into Helen and putting his trust into Jack. I'm not saying that Jack is somebody that Locke should trust, but I think that they should be using this opportunity to find a way to work together and to find some common ground to get to the bottom of what's going on with this man that's in their hatch. You could see a lot of the parallels. Locke decided to trust Henry, and by the end of it, the entire group is in there, and they all have guns pointed at Henry, with what was going on, with the truth being outed there, and Locke being kind of had. Locke so badly wants to trust people. He wants to be able to have that sense about people, about who could be trusted and who can't be trusted. And I think that it's like the switch in him is broken or something, because you see in his past that he doesn't know how to put his trust and his faith in his relationship with Helen, and he's just so desperate to have that relationship with his father that he torches everything in his life. And I think that Locke is so desperate to be right, aside from Jack, that he puts his trust in Henry, and we find out that ends up being a grave mistake as well.
Yeah, and it's you're right. I'd like that you use the Anthony Cooper parallel with that too, because that was something that I never even really thought about, was comparing that to his trust in his father, to his trust in Henry. And so that's a good parallel. That's a good observation, because that's something I didn't really think about. But, on that note of, talking about Anthony Cooper and Locke's father and that relationship that he had, he had that whole thing where he cheated these guys out of $700,000. He needs John to go in and get it for him. And, in return, he's going to give him some of the money. As I'm watching this play out, I'm trying to realize, we know that Anthony is a con man. And I'm trying to figure out where, in fact, the con is starting to take place, if there really is a con to this point. And it wasn't until the second viewing, and I'm wondering what your opinion on this is, too, after I talk about this. But I'm wondering, to me, I'm thinking it was almost he was conning John to put his life on the line so that he wasn't. Because we see at the point where after John goes into the safety deposit box, that he takes the money out, he finds the money, he returns home to Helen, and those two henchmen are waiting for him. And I'm wondering, it's almost as if Anthony wanted him to take the heat off of him. He was hoping that John would get caught with the money so that he wouldn't. And I'm wondering if that's where the con took place, or do you think it took place somewhere else?
That's an interesting question.
Or was this a con at all?
Yeah, so I've been thinking about this since watching the episode, and I think that there's a lot of I think that what you're saying is all true. I think that Anthony Cooper was on the straight and narrow with Locke, probably for the first and only time. He needed the money. He couldn't go get it. He'll give him $200,000 if he goes and he gets it, and he'll be out of his life forever. That's pretty much how that played out. Now, what he didn't say, though, is these guys are going to kill me. I'm hoping that they kill you instead so that I can still live and maybe get my money while they dispose of your body. So he's still using his son for personal gain, but if it all works out, then it works out for everybody. He wasn't going to pull a fast one at the end. He wasn't going to take all the money in the end. We saw that he actually gave him his quote unquote cut. But it ended up ruining the rest of Locke's life, and Anthony Cooper didn't really care. So you could tell that once he got what he wanted, he didn't care how the chips fell onto Locke, but he probably felt like he did Locke right by giving him his share of the money, because when it comes right down to it, Anthony Cooper is all about personal gain and what benefits him the most. We saw that with the kidney situation, and now we see that with this money situation, and we'll get more of Anthony Cooper as time goes on, and kind of how horrible of a man he really is. You can say the same for Henry Gale. Henry Gale wants to prove to Locke that he could be trusted, and he is more or less on the up and up with Locke. He goes and he presses the button. We know at this point, right? We know later that he probably is the one that stops the hatch from being on lockdown, because we know that Ben Linus knows everything about that area and that hatch. And it isn't until the end that while Henry was on the surface on the up and up with Locke, in the end, Locke had the football pulled out from him again. It turns out that he wasn't who he said he was, and now he put his trust into somebody who is going to whose life, or who ended up being a liar. So Henry Gale and Anthony Cooper, I think, in both of these instances in this episode, are essentially doing the same thing to Locke.
Okay, that makes a lot of sense.
But I don't know. I mean, is that a con, or is it just a personal? Is it just like a personal benefit thing? Is it like a survivor?
And that's what
instinct?
I had. Yeah, and that's what I had trouble trying to figure out as I was watching this, because I couldn't figure out if this was a way he was conning John. And this is going back to the Anthony thing. I couldn't figure out if this was Anthony trying to con John, or if this was in a way Anthony including John in the con. Because I mean, he is giving him his cut. He's basically a team member at this point, going in to retrieve this money. But there's another point too where Anthony says to John when he's asking him for this favor, he says, I would not be surprised if I never see you again. And I think some people took that as in he wouldn't be surprised if John doesn't help him. I took that as in, and maybe this is me showing like a greedy side of myself, what would prevent John from going in for that $700,000 and not giving it to Anthony?
Oh, I thought the same thing. I thought
Okay.
I was I'm on the same page as you. I thought that Anthony Cooper was like, look, man, I'm risking this. You want to take all the money? That's on you. You want to give me all the money? That's on you. Like I'm giving you all the power here. But at the same time, he was also risking Locke's life.
He definitely was risking Locke's life, but I mean,
That's a hard couple of words to say.
Apparently, because I couldn't do it. I don't see what would have prevented, because Anthony has made John's life a living hell, like stealing his kidney and just emotionally destroying him, and to me there would have been nothing that prevented John from keeping that money. Especially after he convinced those two guys that he didn't have it when he did, in fact, have it. He was in the clear at that point. He didn't have to give the money to Anthony, but he did. So
yeah, I wonder what would have happened if he would have just given those guys the money and been like, yeah, I did see my dad. He's alive. Here's all the money. Oh, and here's where he is. Goodbye.
I don't even know if he would have even had to tell him where he is. Like, he could have just been like, he's gone. Here's the money. Whatever happens at this point.
It really shows kind of the person that Locke is, though. I mean, Locke is somebody who wants to believe the best in people when it comes right down to it. Even people that have wronged him and stolen from him, he'll still protect people to the end. And that's admirable, but it's also his a big fault for him, only because it torched his relationship. The one good thing that he really had going in his life was Helen, and he risked his relationship and his future with Helen. He lost his relationship and his future with Helen for his father. But at the same time, why on earth did Helen tell him he died? All she had to do was keep her mouth shut and not tell Locke that Anthony Cooper was dead.
Yeah, that's a really good point. And I'm wondering how many other people find it weird and that she reads the obits in the morning. Like, I understand the logic that she put behind it is that nobody ever says anything bad about anybody who died. But I
read the obituaries.
Do you really?
I do.
Okay.
I do.
Because I don't do it, and I've never met anybody that does it. So, I found it kind of, I don't know, for some reason I thought of that as maybe like a little writing cop-out, and like that's how they wanted to make it known that she discovered that Anthony had died.
I don't know. I remember because I don't get a newspaper anymore, but I remember when I did get a newspaper, I really liked reading the obituaries just because it was like, somebody is reading your final story. Somebody is reading the end of your existence on this earth, and I just think that it was worth my time.
I only ever did it to update the phone book.
Like in Friends?
Like in Friends. I was hoping
Phoebe's grandmother?
I was hoping you would catch that reference.
Phoebe's grandmother updating the phone book?
I'm just updating the phone book. And like, gone.
Gone. Dead. It's really funny.
Yeah, I found it weird, but hey, man, now I know that people actually do that. And you're right. I mean, there is a reason why they publish those. So it makes sense that people would actually read them, and that way. When Anthony's funeral happened, I'm wondering, because it's always asking a lot to go back and try and remember stuff from the very first time we ever watched these episodes. Did you believe Anthony to really be dead?
No.
Okay. Me neither.
Although, can we talk about who the random guy was standing next to them that looked like, TV's version of Mike Pence?
No, but let's talk about that.
Who was that guy?
I don't know.
Like random guy at funeral. I mean, it was just really strange that there. And he wasn't looking at the coffin. He wasn't looking at anybody. He was just standing there vacantly.
You read You read his IMDb credit.
I,
Random man at funeral.
random man at funeral. Mike Pence looked like he looked like a really tan Mike Pence.
I didn't even pick up on that, but now I'm going to go back and rewatch it again just to see that scene.
Well, it's gonna bother you now.
And that's why I'm going to have to go back and rewatch it. Yeah, I mean, so there's a couple other notes on, Locke's flashback while we're still on it.
Sure.
I found it interesting that we do get another tie-in to another character, and that character is Saeed. Because the woman that Locke is, when he's inspecting the home, that's Nadia.
That is not. It was bothering me. I'm like, I know her, and she's important, and I cannot place it. I'm so glad that you said that.
Yep, that was Nadia. So it is a way to connect these characters once again. This time John to Saeed. So, the other two notes that I had, and then we'll go back to the A story in the hatch. Two other quick things: the oceanic planes flying over John when he's at the hotel. I thought was a lot of fun, just getting oceanic in there a little bit more. And did you happen to notice the number on the safety deposit box?
1516.
1516. This comes into play because there are two other number references in this episode.
Kind of.
There's two.
Are you talking about the poker game?
No, nope, not even
Okay.
talking about the poker game.
All right.
There are two other references in this. I can jump right into them now if you want me to.
Do it now, yeah.
When Saeed presents Henry with Henry Gale's actual ID, Henry's address, 815 Walnut Road. Or Walnut Ridge. And the other one, and this is the cool little tidbit that I was waiting to, that I just found really cool, and I don't know if it's a total coincidence, which there are none when it comes to this show. This episode of Lost, titled Lockdown, where the whole hatch, it's centered around the hatch, and the hatch goes on lockdown. This is the 42nd episode of the series. We have reached the end of the number sequence, and all of this shit happens in the hatch. I don't know if it's saved or if it's purely coincidence, but I found it very interesting that this was indeed the 42nd episode of the hatch. It's almost as if the numbers had run their course, at least the first time, so they did something special with it, and they centered it around the hatch.
So, are you saying that the 84th episode might have something special?
We're going to have to find out. We're going to have to wait and see.
And if we were to go back and look at each episode of what the numbers are, would that be significant? 4, 8, 15, 16, 23, 42, if you looked at all of those episodes?
Well, let's see. Episode 4, if you count the pilot as one episode, if you count both parts of the pilot as one episode, episode 4 was White Rabbit, which is when Jack begins to see his dad. Episode 8 is Solitary, which was the Saeed episode. So let's see, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, or I can just go to episode 16. Episode 15 is Outlaws.
Sawyer.
In Translation, which was the following episode, which is when the raft burns down.
Lost in Translation, is that Jin and Sun?
That's Jin and Sun. And episode 15, 16, 23. Episode 23 is the finale. Is Exodus Part 1.
Which is whose flashback?
Was there even a flashback in the finale? I don't think there was. I think we discovered that there was no actual flashbacks in Exodus.
Oh wait, I have that's.
Oh no, it's Exodus Part 2. Sorry, episode 23 is Exodus Part 2.
And that's Charlie Arnst flashback.
Okay, so there's multiple.
Yeah.
So maybe there is nothing to it. I don't know, but there's
probably not.
But I just found it a coincidence that the hatch goes on lockdown when it hits 42.
Interesting.
Yeah. I don't know.
I'd be interested to know how far into the episode.
What, time-wise?
Yeah.
You mean? Oh, so if there's an actual number to that as well?
Yeah.
Oh, that would be interesting. Anything else as far as like flashbacks or anything like that you wanted to talk about before we moved on?
No, actually, my next point was about Saeed and Henry.
Okay.
So, but you could go ahead.
No,
I think it's your turn.
I don't have anything else when it comes to. We're just going back and forth. It doesn't really matter. So I mean, if you want to go on with that, feel free.
Yeah, I mean, I just like it. The truth about Henry and Saeed being right. I mean, it kind of all goes together. Man, Saeed, if he's like a bloodhound, man. He knows a liar, and he will dig up a grave just to prove that he's right. I mean, that's dedication, man. What a great reveal that was at the end. Honestly, probably my favorite part of the entire episode was those last that last 90 seconds. Because like we said earlier, they walk in, they're all guns blazing, and everybody's confused. Including the viewer, which is great because the viewer always seems to have a leg up on what's going on. And so it's fun to be completely caught off guard and not know what's happening because you're like, wait a minute, I just saw this bullshit in the beginning and now we have something else going on. So that part was really fun. And then when he said he dug up the grave, I was expecting him to say there was nothing there, but he said there was a man there, and I'm like, oh, I forgot about this. And then he pulled out the license, and you see who Henry Gale is, and that was awesome. So it made me want to watch the next episode immediately, which is really fun when that happens.
Yes, yeah, and I agree with you. I'll even go as far as to say, you said the last 90 seconds of this episode were great. To me, the last 5 minutes of this episode are fantastic. Because you not only get that great moment with Saeed and then returning back from the hatch, or returning back from the balloon to the hatch, to confront Henry and realizing Henry is not Henry at all. In essence, rest in peace, Henry Gale. Welcome to the world, Ben Linus, because that's happening.
Yeah,
that is happening very, very soon. Because this is in essence the end of Henry Gale. Because they know he's not Henry Gale. But on top of that, that the whole indigo light, black light in there, and we see the map on the back of the door. That to me was the moment that this episode just totally took a turn, and for the interesting, because we're now seeing there's so much more to this island than we ever imagined.
Yeah, and what's interesting is that we don't see that map again.
No, we don't.
Which is crazy.
Which is why I remember when this episode first aired, just screenshots of that map popping up all over the place. And, that was one of the things I really loved about this show, is you never saw that before in any other kind of television series. This is before social media was as big as it was. So, there weren't a lot of spoilers online like there are now, but you had to go onto blogs and see people who took literal digital pictures with their camera of their screen. Or print screens of their screen to see these images, because there were so many hidden things and things to analyze that this was unheard of when it came to television before. And I remember pausing my screen to analyze that map. And I did it again. This week as we're talking about it. I screenshotted that map, and even I discovered new things this time that I've never discovered before. That's awesome. I told you about it before we started recording. There's one thing on that map that has been confirmed by the Lost Wiki that I never knew until now. And that is the fact that the black smoke monster has a name.
And that name is?
Cerberus.
And what does that mean?
That is the Greek name given to Hades' guard of hell. Three-headed guard of hell. So the fact that the black smoke monster this whole time is called, that might not be the actual name, but that is what they called it. They called it Cerberus. And when you think about everything that happens in the future of this series, especially later on when it comes to it, it's fitting. Because it's a guard of the island.
Mm-hmm.
It is the island guard.
Mm-hmm.
That also means that the island is hell, but
Which
is also fitting.
yeah.
It's also very fitting. But yeah, that map on the door, man, I just remember the first time watching it, like, what is happening? Holy shit. Like, because there's a lot. I still have that image pulled up right now, actually. I mean, we see the swan, which it says, I am here. So, I mean, it's very obvious that it's either Desmond who drew this or, what the hell's his name? The one that was there before him.
So it was Rosinski and Kelvin.
Okay.
Because I actually looked up the history of that map on the wiki, and I read up about how it was made and who did it and when they did it, and after. So I can read that if you'd like.
Yeah,
a little
sure.
bit of that. Okay, so let me pull it up real quick. Okay, so on the Lostopedia fandom app, the app has a lot more information than if you go to your computer. The computer going to fandom.com is just ridiculous as far as the stuff goes. So anyways, the Blastdoor map says Stuart Rudinsky, a Dharma Initiative member and architect of the Swan Station, originally created the map. He and his partner, Kelvin Inman, regularly forced a lockdown to engage the blast doors in order to continue their work on the map. The map's creators were forced to work blindly, as the map could only be seen under conditions when the Swan was illuminated with blacklight. Following Rudinsky's suicide, Kelvin continued working on the map, albeit at a much slower pace. Kelvin described Rudinsky as having a photographic memory, allowing him to remember exactly where he left off. It is unknown if Desmond ever contributed to the map. Dharma laundry detergent was at least one of the substances used as paint on the map. Likely other mixtures were used to create the different colors. Locke saw the blast door map for the first and only time in lockdown while trapped under the blast door during the lockdown incident. Black lights switched on, revealing the map. So there's a lot more to this. If you just go to hidden map, you can search it in the lost section of the fandom app. There is a lot of it. There's pictures, there's articles, there's everything about the stations, and part of it is in English, part of it's in Latin. The coolest part is that the stuff that's written in English is all factual, where the stations are, how to get there, blah, blah, blah. And then the stuff that's in Latin is all theories and questions that they have, so that the writers or the people that made the map were able to differentiate between what was fact and what was theory. So I thought that was really brilliantly done, especially for just a quick flash of a map. They really thought it out, and they knew that people were going to zoom in on it and screenshot it and break it down. Maybe they didn't. I don't know. Maybe it was all a part of the greater design of the series, was to have this map be all thought out. Maybe it was a writer's room thing. I don't know, but I like the concept of it, and I think that was a really, really great reveal in the episode. There were a lot of great reveals in this episode. Jack's good at cards, a hidden map.
Jack's good at cards.
Henry Gale.
Yep. Yeah, that's again, it's one of the reasons why I'm just loving going back and rewatching the show, because it's just, I'm still discovering new things that I'd never discovered before. And I'm looking at the map now, and it's just, there's so much. There's a list of fatalities. There's just, oh God, it's so cool. I'm still intrigued by this show.
Yeah, me too. I think that it's really fun.
Yeah, it's just fun. I mean, you're seeing that. If you look at this map, which I'll post a picture online too on the Facebook page, but you see all the different hatches, like the flame, the swan, the staff, the arrow, and a couple other hatches that aren't even given names.
I think that it was all by memory, because that's kind of the weird part, because one of the stations that doesn't have a name, or they called it the alleged something or other, I forget which one it was. Rudinsky actually worked at that station. So that, I don't know if that was a continuity error, or if that was just like classified. I don't know.
Yeah, it's interesting. Yeah, it's just fun watching, and rediscovering that and things like, and things just similar to that. And as we're going to learn, and Kelvin was the name I was thinking of that I couldn't remember, and you read it in that description, in that passage. But yeah, it's fun even realizing too that what we know of this island, even from this map, there's so much more that's even on this map that
Right.
we're going to discover, because, spoiler alert, there's a second island which we haven't even talked about yet, which we're not even going to get to I think till next season. So, as of right now, as viewers, whether it's your first time or, revisiting like us, we're still only like, even with the inclusion of everything in that map, we are still only a portion of what is to be discovered.
That's so cool.
Yeah, I love it.
That's very cool. Yeah, we're starting to get into the cool parts of the island, and I don't know. Season 2 is so great, and it's a great setup to the rest of the series, but it's also just really, a great season on its own.
Well, not only that, but if you look at the map, in the center of everything, there's a big question mark. And that is the title of an episode coming up in like 3 or 4 episodes.
That's right. You're right.
And we're going to discover exactly what that question mark is before this season's over, which is going to be, and that is an episode that I do not like. Because that is the Nikki and Paolo episode.
That is okay. All right.
I'm pretty sure that's the Nikki and Paolo episode. I want to say that it is. Hold on. I'm looking at the cast. I'm looking. Maybe it's not. Okay, maybe it's not. I don't see them listed in the cast, so I could be wrong.
They're already dead.
I hope so. I never liked Nikki and Paolo at all.
It's funny. Yeah, well, we've now talked about everything else on my list with the map and Saeed and the truth about Henry Gale, so I'm done. So if you have anything else, go for it.
I have 2 other things. One of them is, and you kind of touched on it a little bit, you said that you mentioned that you kind of feel like Henry knew how to bring the blast doors up. I looked at that a little differently. I looked at that as in, that was a timed process that the blast doors went down so that they could deliver the food package. And then when the package was delivered, the blast doors went back up. It could be that that Henry knew how to raise them up. I looked at it as if it was just timed to be that way. But, focusing on that food drop for a minute, did no one notice a plane overhead to drop this food?
I guess not. I think,
It's an interesting question.
Yeah, I don't know.
Because I would think that the blast doors go down to keep them in the hatch at a time when the button needs to be pressed, so that they know for a fact that they're in the hatch at that time. They close the blast doors, they drop the food drop so that they can't see the plane, and then they release the doors, because they're technically not supposed to be out there anyway. So, if we put them in this current situation now where there are survivors all out on the island. Oh my gosh,
you're totally right. That did all coincide together.
It did. Everything coincides together. The hatch went down at the time that the button was meant to be pushed, so they were supposed to be in the hatch at that time. So what better time than to lock them down? The only thing is, the button to be pushed is outside of the blast doors.
So that doesn't make any sense.
That's what I mean. Like, I don't get the whole timing process of it. Or why the blast doors would be there and not maybe further outside of the exit. That's the only thing that doesn't make any sense to me. But we know that they were timed because the food drop came. But that brings up, again, 2 interesting questions. One, how did nobody notice a plane overhead dropping this, especially with a bright blinking light on it? Nobody happened to see that falling from the sky. And 2, the Dharma Initiative still exists. It would have to.
Right.
But that's never talked about again.
Do you notice that the map was also very similar to the Dharma logo?
Oh, in the design of where like the hatches and everything are.
It just looks like the Dharma logo.
It's like the octagon, yeah.
Yeah.
The design, yeah. So again, everything's by design on this show. I have no
Right.
doubt about that.
Yeah, I agree.
But in order for them to keep dropping food, one, they have to
Was
know.
food dropped or was it placed there?
How would it be placed there?
Would it be placed there with the intention of it looking like it was dropped?
Oh, I never thought of that. I never once thought that could have been them placing it there. But what would be the point of that? Like, why would you feed these people?
Well, the whole Swan Station is a psychological experiment. I mean, it's part real, but it's also a psychological experiment.
But
experiment.
But it was a
How long?
But it was a psychological experiment done by the Dharma Initiative, which at this point on the island doesn't exist anymore.
Well,
it hasn't
there's
existed
still
for
a whole
years.
group of people though that are on the island.
But they're not Dharma.
Are they?
No, because they kill off the Dharma Initiative.
Well, they could be acting like the Dharma Initiative.
Yeah, see, that's one of those things I don't think ever gets explained. I
Or
figured
Charles Whitmore continues to just drop stuff from the sky. I don't know.
That's what I mean. Like, I don't know. Like, this is the one part of the episode I am confused about. Is how did that?
I would love
how did
an
that
answer
get there?
from a listener.
Hey, if any listeners have answers that we're not thinking of, please, let us know. Send us a message on Facebook or email us, and let us know what it is.
And I need stuff to read. So tell me where to go.
Yeah, I don't even know if there's anything on the fan page about that. I'm looking now. Let's see. We get the Dharma, the oceanic plains overhead. Hieroglyphic. Oh, here we go. Beacon on a large pallet. The periodic resupply drop is a name given to Dharma Initiative procedure in which new provisions and other supplies are parachuted onto the island from the Dharma Logistics Warehouse in Guam. The drop appears to take place at regular intervals out of about 6 to 8 months, and the drop orders are automated messages from the lamppost. Let's see. In season 2, during a lockdown incident at the Swan, a large pallet of Dharma food and supplies was found quite close to the entrance of the station by Kate and Jack. None of the survivors recalled hearing a plane fly overhead, although the large pallet and its cargo were attached to a parachute and had a flashing beacon. Charlie speculated that the station may have been deliberately locked down to keep the occupants from seeing who made the drop. Okay, which is what we just talked about before. Supply drop contained a large amount of Dharma Initiative food, including boxes of macaroni and cheese, peanut butter, risotto, ranch dressing, canned goods, and other sort of food.
Because, when you're in the hatch, you want to make risotto.
Hey, I like a good risotto.
I do too, but I'm not making it for that's just so funny. Risotto.
Let's
Eat
see.
some rice. I
Just-
do love risotto.
I
I
do
might
too.
make some this weekend.
Let's see. Several years later, Benjamin Linus visited the Dharma Logistics Warehouse in Guam, where the drops were being launched from. He informed the two men working there that the initiative disbanded 20 years previously, answered a few of their questions about why they were sending pallets, and relieved them of their duties. So, they are, in fact, there are two men that were actually still sending these drops. That happens in episode New Man in Charge, which is season 6. Which is after Ben has already gotten off the island. Yeah, so there is in fact two people at the Guam warehouse that are still sending these pallets, even though the Dharma Initiative has disbanded.
They're like, we must continue.
Well, who's going to tell them otherwise?
Oh, you're right. You are right.
So yeah, so we've just figured it out. This is an actual pallet that was dropped, and there are two guys from the former Dharma Initiative still believing they're part of the Dharma Initiative, continuing to send these drops. That's interesting. I did not remember that episode, but I'm looking forward to when we get to it.
That's awesome.
Yep. The only other note that I have actually goes back to something we talked about in an earlier episode. I think it was the episode where Shannon was killed. We kind of noticed a focus on this. And it's that every time there's about to be a dramatic emphasis on something, the rain gets heavier in the episode.
That's true.
And it happens again when Saeed, Charlie, and Anna find the balloon.
Yes.
The rain is very heavy when they find the balloon. It's actually how they discover the balloon, because they're underneath of it and they discover it's not raining where they are.
I'm like, why is it dry?
Yeah. So I just found it interesting that they play with that symbolism even more this episode, even for a short period of time, that, you know, the rain becomes very heavy when they're discovering that balloon. So
crazy. I love it that comes up again. I didn't even put that together. I'm so glad that you did.
Yep. I love that aspect, and it's because now that we've talked about that, that's something I pay attention to, and I'm going to continue to pay attention to it because it's fun to discover it.
Mm-hmm.
So
absolutely.
But yeah, that's all my notes on the episode as well.
That's all I got.
So
no Jin and Sun, boo.
No Jin and Sun. Any other characters we didn't see this week?
Rose and Bernard, but they're not regular.
That's true.
Yeah, just Jin and Sun.
Yeah, because we even got Libby this week too. Libby and Hurley.
Jin and Sun are off being pregnant and excited. Oh, no Echo.
Oh, that's true. Yep.
But we're about to get a lot of Echo, so I'm excited.
And next week we get a lot of Hurley.
Yep.
Hurley and Libby in episode 18, Dave, which is a very interesting episode, to say the least.
I'm excited. We're getting into some really good episodes.
Oh, we're getting to the end. You know,
yeah.
We're getting to we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 episodes left of this season.
Well, what's very cool too is that we have been a podcast now for a year.
Yes, we have.
We just celebrated that, so that's exciting.
Yeah, I think it was a couple days ago was our first podcast.
Well, I think we were actually in town together. We celebrated with Beat Saber and Leo steaks.
That's it. Yes, we did. And cheese fries. Leo's has cheese fries.
Yeah, I actually blew my neighbors' minds with that because they knew Leo's. They're from the Philadelphia area. They knew Leo's really well. And I told them that there's a window in the store now and they have fries. And they're like, what? And I'm like, yeah.
I mean, it's a rather sad, unfortunate series of events as to why they have fries and a new window. As we discovered, a local police car drove through the store one night in October.
Man, when you want a cheesesteak, you want a cheesesteak. All right?
But yes, to anybody who's ever never been to the Philadelphia area but plans to go there, check out, not a sponsor, by the way, Leo's cheesesteaks in Fulcroft, because they are amazing. As you and your husband found out this past week. Yep.
The best.
And I've since had cheese fries from them again since you've been here.
Oh, cool.
Because their cheese fries are actually really good.
Really good.
Yep.
I was really excited, yeah. Because you get fries and then you get like a big thing of cheese. It's not on the fries. And that to me is better.
You're right. It's a big thing of cheese that they give you.
Yeah, they don't skimp.
And they do the Five Guys treatment with their fries too.
Yes, they do.
Which they put the cup of fries in the bag and then they throw a couple extra in there.
We have completely gone off the rails now.
We talked about the episode.
I'm hungry.
I know.
I'm so hungry right now.
I am too. But we have feedback to get to, as we usually do. Our friends Steve and Des, our regular feedback givers, are at it again this week. Steve left us a voicemail. This time Des sent us an email purely because we've been having a couple issues with his audio recordings. But that's fine. He still left us feedback, which is good. What do you want to start with? Do you want to start with Dez's email, or do you want to start with Steve's
Let's do the
voicemail?
email first.
Alrighty. So as we mentioned, this is a feedback from our buddy Des Combs, and he says, "Hey guys, I've got a few things to say about this episode, but first, sigh. It's funny that you couldn't hear in quotations my voicemail, Ben, since I disagreed with you on almost everything. Jack is not perfect. I never said he was, but John Locke, fuck him and fuck his precious hatch." My hatch, in quotations, whatever. Did he build it? No. Did he buy it? No. He found it, and he couldn't even get into it without Jack's help, although there was a door like 15 feet away. I guess they just didn't feel like looking. And the shower, I'm sorry, if I had a friend visiting, I would never go in the bathroom while he's showering. What the hell, man? Boundaries. And Charlie, you thought he was being charming? Wow, he's really going off. Really? I thought he was acting like a pissy little brat the whole trip. Saeed forgave Ana Lucia, but Charlie kept giving her attitude. I will say, though, good catch, Ben. I didn't even think about Saeed and Ana dropping the ball on the gun and Henry maybe setting them up. Okay, I've got that out of my system. And now he goes into lockdown. And it's funny, too, because our buddy Steve Brown, who you met for the first time last week, was somebody who actually said the same thing, that it never crossed his mind once about Saeed and Ana not catching on to the whole Charlie thing. But he goes on about lockdown. Fuck John Locke. Is he ever able to tell Helen the truth about anything? And the first warning that your dad may have faked his death. The funeral consists of you, your girlfriend, you can't tell the truth to, the clergy, the funeral director, and 2 goons watching you in the distance.
Funeral director. Thank you, Des.
Yep, that's who it is.
That's who Mike Pence is.
To be fair, Jack, quit fucking lying to Kate. Come on, don't be Locke. When is he lying to Kate? I don't know.
Oh, well, just about the water leak.
Oh, yeah. Okay. That's okay.
I agree. Like the fact that they were hiding Henry Gale in there, I agree.
I find it interesting that we actually gave Jack a lot of praise this week, and he's the one telling him to stop lying. Like, the sky is...
We can't win.
Yeah.
Hey, we can't win.
The sky is blue. No, it's not. It's orange.
Exactly.
Oh, you're right. It is orange. No, it's blue.
I think that we are Jack and Locke.
Yes.
When it comes to Des, we like Jack. No, we hate Jack. Well, we hate Jack too. No, we like Jack.
But he wraps it up with question. Was Ben being sloppy with the buried body, or did he want them to find out? His brain just doesn't work like the rest of us. Emerson's work just gets better and better with each episode. Totally agree.
Agreed.
That's about all I've got. Oh, by the way, I did download Dharma Lady the day it was released all those years ago, and I also got You All Everybody, but that was free in TV Guide.
You all everybody.
Talk to you later, Des.
Okay, so I think that not in a million years Ben Linus thought that anybody would dig up the grave.
I kind of agree with you on that. I think he thought he had all his bases covered. But then again, like, I don't know, because he is that clever. You know, it could have been an empty grave for all we knew, but maybe he just saw the grave, made up a story, and never bothered to see himself what was actually in the grave. So I tend to lean more with you and think that he never once thought they would dig it up.
Yeah.
Because I think by the end of that episode, up until the moment when Saeed and those guys burst in, Ben thought he was winning and he earned their trust. And I think he earned Locke's trust, and that he figured that was all he needed to get himself into the group.
Yeah, I think he had thought that was a successful infiltration until Saeed showed up with that driver's license.
Because if Ben had any inclination that they were going to dig up that grave, he had an opportunity to get out.
Yeah, he did. You're right. You're totally right.
He had an opportunity to get out of that hatch and get away, knowing full well what they have done to his people in the past, especially Ana Lucia, who has killed members of the others without even thinking.
Right.
And that was the one he gave the map to. If he had any inclination that Ana was going to come back with that knowledge, he would have gotten the hell out of there.
Yeah, agreed.
So yeah, I don't think he knew. I don't think he knew about it at all. But cool. Thanks, Des, for that vent session and for the email.
I love Des. I love Des. Even when he's disagreeing, I don't care. I love Des.
I agree. I'm so happy when he leaves us voicemails, or when he leaves us emails and voicemails. So yeah, keep them coming. Next up, we have the voicemail from our buddy Steve. So let's go ahead and play that now.
Hello, Kristen and Ben. This is Steve, and a few notes for Lockdown. This is my favorite episode of the series. I haven't watched it. There may be some later episodes that are just as good, but this in my memory, this is my favorite. Just a few quick notes. I love that Jack tells Locke to put Henry back in the armory, and I just kind of wanted Locke to go, "You took him out, you put him back." Um, I love the fact, and maybe love is the wrong word, but you notice Henry, and of course we're going to learn later what his actual name is, but uh, he makes these no matter what deals because he knows that if he gets found out, he's still going to be protected. Because remember, Jack points that out to Locke that that the map that Ana Lucia said no matter what they find, she would protect him. And then now he does the same thing with Locke. He's like, well, you better protect me no matter what. So I thought that was interesting. Love the Kate line, should I go get a ruler? And Hurley, Luke, dude. Um, do you, I was going to ask that question, but I think he did. But isn't there a later where he says, no, he didn't push the button? I don't remember. But I mean, we know what happens when the button doesn't get pushed. So absolutely love the ending, the reveal there. I'm glad they didn't make us wait until the next episode to find that out, because obviously um, Ben Linus did not think that anybody would be willing to dig up a grave. Um, I'm thinking he must have buried the body of the real Henry Gale and then made up the story in order to, for his ruse. Uh, Talk to you later.
Yeah, I'm glad that we all see that. We all know that, that was just not even for, like, nobody thought that they would have dug up the grave. Like, I wouldn't have. I would have been like, okay, there's a grave. You were right. Good job.
Yeah,
I'm not digging up a grave.
I would have taken him for his alibi being true at that point.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I don't think I would have dug up the grave either.
I am not Savage Saeed.
But, I mean, you know what? I think Steve makes a good point, too. And I think there is a moment where I think he does he changes his tactics a little bit. Ben, that being Ben. And I think he does play mind games with Locke a little bit, telling him he didn't push the button. I don't remember. I think that is the case. I think that is something that happens.
Well, then if that's the case, then the drop did happen when they were locked down, and the button is just taken care of during that time.
Maybe. Or it could just be Ben was lying.
Yeah, see? Don't know.
It's the deceptiveness of Ben Linus, which is one of the reasons why, like, he's such a... Again, I've made mention of this before. He is my favorite character from this series. John is a very close second. John Locke is a very close second. And they actually are two characters that go very hand in hand with each other, throughout the course of this series. But Ben's character is so just nefarious and manipulative, but at the same time complicated and intriguing. That I never get a good grasp on his character, and every time you think you have a grasp on his character, he does something different.
I think in the last episode it turns out that we know. I
love his moment in the finale. Yeah, I absolutely love his moment in the series finale.
I liked the finale.
I did too. I mean, and like, the fact that, and this is, again, we're jumping way ahead, but just like that moment where he's like, no, I think I'm just going to sit here for a while. And I'm being as vague as possible with it. He's like, I think I'm just going to sit here. Like, when you see that scene and you put everything behind it leading up to it, that scene makes so much sense for his character. Like, it's a big reveal of his character that he knows exactly who he is and what he has done. And it's one of the reasons why I love that moment with his character in the finale.
Yeah, that'll be fun to talk about. So when we get there.
But he is like, he's one of those characters that's so complex and complicated that there are moments like now where you kind of root for him, because again, this episode we were meant to believe that he's trustworthy. He really is this Henry Gale. And then there are moments that by the end of this season, you hate him, like you despise him. And then there are moments later on where you love him. There are moments you feel sorry for him. Like it's, oh God, he is my favorite character from this series. Like there's no question about it.
This was a very good little slice of Michael Emerson as well. This entire episode, he was very compelling.
Yeah, I haven't heard back from his rep in a while. I got to get in touch with his rep to get him on, because I would love to talk to him.
Yeah, that would be fun.
I would love for us both to talk to him about the series and just, oh God, it'd be so good. Anyway, thanks Steve for the voicemail feedback. But we encourage you guys to leave us feedback as well. And there are multiple ways that you can do that. I closed what they are, so give me like 2 seconds to bring them back up.
I'll just say it. We are on Facebook at facebook.com/Lost Revisited. We're also on Instagram at Lost Revisited Pod. You can email us at lostrevisited.pod@gmail.com. And if you want to leave us a message, you can record yourself and you can send it on to our email address.
Thank you for covering my ass on that one.
Yep.
I appreciate it.
Yeah, man.
So we definitely encourage you guys to leave us feedback for, our next episode and all future episodes, and anything that we may ask you for. Like, I forget. I think we talked about the drop, but we kind of covered that this week as well. But even if you agree with something or disagree with something we've talked about in a previous episode, feel free to leave us feedback for that as well, and we'll always talk about that.
That would be fun. Yeah. Thanks.
But more importantly, more than anything else, on top of this podcast, we encourage you to check out all of the other great podcasts on both the Podcastica and Next Level Podcast Network. I know you and Jason just wrapped up House Podcastica. We're talking about the series finale.
Yeah, we wrapped up Game of Thrones, and in a couple of weeks, I will be taking House Podcastica over to Gilead, and we will be covering season 3 of The Handmaid's Tale.
Which maybe that's a show I'm going to need to get into at some point.
I'll just tell you right now, don't binge it. Don't. It's not good for anyone's heart to binge that show.
I heard that. I've heard that before. So
I recommend watching 1 episode to 2 episodes of something funny and light.
In between?
That's the ratio, yes.
Okay. That makes a lot of sense.
That's how I watched Brooklyn Nine-Nine.
Oh, was in between of episodes of Handmaid's Tale?
In between episodes of Handmaid's Tale, yeah.
That makes a lot of sense. And I know on DC Primetime, as I mentioned, at the top, we covered all the finales of all of those shows. We're about to head into our summer episodes, which means we're going to be talking about some of the DC Universe shows like Doom Patrol and Swamp Thing. And I know this summer we're doing something we've never done before, and that is we're having our Primer Awards, which we're going to be talking about, like giving awards to like favorite new characters from the shows and things like that. So we're really excited about that. It's going to be a lot of fun.
That'll be fun.
Yeah.
Good.
So, but other than that, I think that about wraps it up for this week, unless you have anything else to add.
No, sir.
No, sir. So, with that being said, then, thank you everybody for listening. Thank you for being a part of this family. Thank you for taking this stroll down the road with us. Once again, going back to the island. But until next time, we'll see you further on down that rabbit hole. Take care.
Bye-bye.
We have to go back, Kate. We have to go back!